right, hey guys, how we doing? Sam here with you on Monday, November 5th. And we'll do a quick update here on Bitcoin. There's not a lot to add, but we do have a contender here. Now we've got a possible corner pocket, so I'm just it's digging the subdivision out of this is a bit tricky here, but I've got some sort of impulse. We've retraced to the 786 to the tick. Now I'm here on GDAX with Bitcoin, so maybe we got the start of something here. So this is certainly a contender for a 1-2. Now, if we're going to go into a full-blown third up here, we know, this is a reasonable shorthand target here. That would be close to the 1618 here at the negative 100. Now, you got to look at it this way. If for the case of, if we're going to get an impulsive here, or it doesn't need to be an impulse, it just needs to be a motive wave. If we're going to get a clear 5 out of this, well, we got to be conscious of the time component. So if we look at this and we say, okay, well, if we were going to go and finish here, and we're going to get our 3, our 4, and our 5, and then we're coming down into an ABC, right? And then we're going up. We're going to run into this time factor here. We're not going to go straight. So it may be if this corner is going to hold, if we're going to hold here and head towards the median line, possible, right? With the time element here, we might have to go to a modifier here or look at a different geometry tool for this. But right now, let's go down to the 15-minute. First things first. Let's get this motive wave more established here. Now this is kind of the same problem here. These are not great looking one waves because we have this spiky action here, just like we did over here. So you go, well, can I dig 5 out of there? Well, probably if I went down to a 1 minute, 2 minute, you can probably get it. But right now, look, if this is going to go as 1-2 and we're going to ultimately get some sort of an impulse here, we certainly aren't far enough to call this a 3. So right now, with this softening here, we're kind of working the hopium here to think that we're going to get this, right? Just yet. So we got to get better shape here. So first thing we can do is just if indeed this is a 2 and we have something here, maybe this is the one wave of the third wave. Well, so far we've just come down to a 50. Swing low to this swing high. We're sitting here at the 50. Now I'd be paying attention to this 1, right? If we come down here and overlap that, we can still end up with a diagonal, but the structure is going to start breaking down here, would make this look more like an ABC. But if we look here in terms of that swing relationship, if that's a 1, it's not quite ready to call that, but it has the potential to be a 1. Well, we didn't get 100% of that swing. We're kind of in no man's land there. It looks like that's about 75% of it here. So then you look at it here and say, well, if we're going to get any sort of retrace here, if we come down and hold here, maybe this prior resistance here kicks in as some support, well then we got a long way to go up here. So this first little retracement, the other thing you could do, you could just put the wolf range on it and say, all right, can we hold the 50s? Well, if we've got, let's get this. Oh, we'll go over to the wolf here. So if we're the reason that this is a nice shorthand way to work in the market is we're always looking for 50s. We're never going to miss a 50. So if swing low, swing high, so here from our first one, we didn't quite make the 50 here. So this is a little bit, it's not that we never see it. It's just a little bit suspect here as a 2 because we don't make the 50. I believe it was exactly a 38. Well, so if I go swing high to swing low, if this is our range, well, here's our 50 here. So if that's going to be our range, you'd want to see this support hold, this prior resistance here hold, and then we kick up here. Then maybe we can get into an ABC here, and we're going to end up with a diagonal. So we might be setting up something along these lines. So you've got a 5 here. If you come down, I'm on a 15. You went down to a 5 minute, but maybe we get something along those lines. So we get an ABC. Then the anticipation is the 4's got to come down, take off the 1. So it's a little bit feels a little bit like a force fit. So I think what would be better if this were the 1 of the third. So this would all be going much higher. So you can see here there's a little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and looks like we've come down into an ABC. So if we're going much beyond that, I don't like to go, unless I'm absolutely forced to, below a 15 minute. I just think that it's so squirrely and so unreliable here. maybe, you can see it here, maybe you can dig a, I guess we can maybe be able to get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of that. So we've got, it plays better as the one wave of the third wave here. So if we, of course, we have to take that up a degree. So let's go to, we'll put that in green. So if this is gonna go into if we're gonna get a motive wave here, this is gonna play better in terms of the range that we need to travel as the one wave of the third. So thus this 50 here will be important. So if we've got the one of the third, this 50 as we're sitting right here, even if we go, let's get our measured move on there. So if we look here, here's the 618. So now we're overlapping the one. Again, it's not an issue, because if this is just the one wave of the third, then this isn't terribly problematic in terms of invalidating the count. But you'd rather see that hold. So if we're going to go 1, 2, and then get a big 3, then that's going to be the third of the third. So if we pull this back out here, so we go back to the 1 hour here. Now let's keep it all in perspective. Right? So this would just be, so maybe we get, now if we look at it here, so if we complete the 1 here, so think about that. So if we're going to complete the 1 here, and then we're going to do a 50, and then we're going to get a 1618, and then we're going to get a 38, and then we're going to go to a 50. So we got something like that. Now we're pushing the third over here. That's what I meant about some of the time components being a factor here. Get this over here is something else I was working on. Okay, so we look there and go, all right, well, maybe we've got to go to a modified shift. Maybe a channel will frame this a little bit better here. It looks to me like if this is going to go, this is going to need to go to, we'll probably start modified shift, and we'd need to get the 2, or maybe the 2 looks like that would cover it. Get the 1.5 on there. All right, so look here now. It looks like we might be able to get something along these lines, and that would put us up here challenging the 200%. Now we'll have to see, right? I'm just trying to lay out a roadmap and trying to be realistic about the time that we might be looking at here. So again, we're just barely digging out a motive wave, which would be progress. If we can get a clean motive wave here, but that likely just the one of the third of the one here, if this is going to hold as a 1, 2. Right, but that does tee us up better here. So if we zoom in here on the median line, if this is going to go right to the median line, that looks better here in modified shift than it did in just original, just because of the time component. So that doesn't look terribly bad here. So let's get this completed, and then we can maybe get a little bit more optimistic about where we're going in the next 2 months, right, between now and the end of the year. So I'm tightening that up. All right, so possible, all just possible. The no trade there, I don't think. For me, there's not enough there yet, right? I'd like to, let's get one of these to complete, or let's get a decent third. Let's at least get beyond 100% of one of these swings here, so we could have the possibility for a third. All right, so there's a short update. Hopefully, we'll see a little more volatility this week, which will help with some of the directional confusion that we're sitting here as we just move range bound. So this would be a key pivot. This 6,200 has been a pretty critical number here. It's been tested repeatedly. So the fact that we held again and now we're moving away from it, good sign. Good sign. But a lot of things have to happen before we can start pulling out the bullhorns. All right, guys, I'll be back to you with one other here shortly.